To do the recording, the first thing is to create the new file. In a lot of programs, Command N is going to be your option, or Control N if you were working in Windows, but we're working on the Mac right now, so it would be Command N, or on some of your keyboards there's an apple next to it. But that creates a multi-track session. What I first want to do is create my individual audio files. And this would be the way I'd recommend that you do it at the recording booths, is you create your audio files and then you go back to your workstation, create your multi-track session, and start putting those together. So notice this is Command Shift. So the up arrow is Shift, Command is the clever shape key, N is my letter. And now it gives me an option of what do I want to name it, what sample rate, how many channels, and bit depth do I want. It will typically go with whatever your previous setting was, and because earlier today I left my settings at 4416 or CD audio quality, it's remembering that. So I'm going to title this Character 1. Remembering in our project we need 3 characters as part of this project, so I have Character 1 here. Then I can click on OK. And it brings up this blank window, and now it's waiting for me to record. Like an analog recording device, I will scan around until I see something that looks like a red record button. And down at the bottom of the screen I see the little button, and if I put my cursor over it, it gives me a tooltip and it says record. It also shows me what key command I could press for it, which is Shift Space. Tooltips in Adobe programs are hugely useful. I use them all the time. And a little secret, if you notice I pause during demonstrations and let tooltips show up, sometimes I'm doing that to remember exactly which tool I want to press. Look for it next time. But I can see here it is if I want to record. Now at this point I ideally would know what I'm going to say. I would have my script ready, and then I can say, hey, this is the first character. I'm the hero. I can press the space bar to stop my recording. I could have clicked on the record button to stop my recording again. And I'm sure there's other ways. Like everything on a computer, there's all kinds of different ways to go about doing it. Now we can see the spectral display shows me the collection of my voice and where it's happening. A lot of the movement that I see through here, this little kind of ribbing in this, is actually picking up a byproduct of the ventilation system in the room, so it's causing slight cancellations of the sound as it comes out of my voice, which is why I'm not getting clear, clean, crystal audio. So I'm actually picking up the hum of the ventilation system, in case you're wondering why it has that weird pattern. It's not that I can make my voice get that nice little vibrato effect. It's because it's getting wrecked by the ventilation. If I don't want to see the spectral display, I can click up here, and now that hides it, and now I just see the waveform. Now I can scrub through this, and if I'm really good and scrub at real time, it would actually sound ready. But if I want to hear myself in reverse because it's fun, I can find out if I can convey evil messages in reverse. Okay, I didn't detect any hidden messages, subliminal messages trapped into my audio. So I think we're safe working with this. Now that it's been recorded, if I want to trim this down, because it's like, well, I don't need the beginning part, because at the beginning I was just talking. So I don't need that. Ready, and then I can say, hey, this is the... Okay, so you see that at this spike in the waveform, this is where I start talking, right here. The beginning part I really don't need. So what's really nice about this, if I don't need it, I can just click and drag my mouse on it. And then I hit delete. I just press the delete key, and it goes away. It is that simple. Okay, so now I have trimmed down my first character. I'm going to make my 3 characters. I'm going to create the multi-track session file. And then I'm going to add the characters to it and use those to start building my story. So I will hit the record button again. So this is useful. We get to repeat the process a few times to help reinforce it for you so that it's burned into your brain, so a week later when you come back and sit down you don't go, oh crap, where do I begin? And I just did something really bad. Now I just recorded over what I'd recorded the first time because I forgot to make a new file. Suddenly when I saw the waveform disappearing before my very eyes, I realized, oops. Thankfully, working on a computer, computers do have undo. I don't know how far back it will go, but if I just undo one, now we're good. So this is also something I got used to in Sound Booth. When I used to use that, every time I hit the record button, it made a new file. Audition works like a more traditional audio program. It will start recording it wherever your playback head is placed. It doesn't make a new file. It starts recording right there. So it will overwrite what was previously recorded if I'm not making a new file. So I have to change my workflow or my habits because I've spent the last number of years in the workspace of Sound Booth, and now I have to get back into an Audition style workspace. So the key command for a new audio file is Command-Shift-N. Now this will be character 2. And now that comes up. Now it's blank, so I know I'm not recording over it. And then I can hit the record key. Hey there, good evening. This is character 2. Pleased to meet you. So now I have some audio to work with at that point, and I will make my third one character 3, leaving all the settings the same. Again, remembering that it remembers my settings from the previous recording, so I don't have to keep resetting it to 4416 or anything like that. It remembers that. And now I can hit the record button. So at this point I'll be able to go, hello there, this is character 3. And I'm distorting my voice a little bit, just so I can sound different. Now technically I could do the distortion using the computer, but I can also do the distortion using my own voice. I would recommend on your project that if at all possible you get multiple people to go in the sound booth and record your scripts for you. So talk to your classmates and say, hey, I need a male voice, I need a female voice. Would you do it for me? And coerce them, bribe them, whatever it takes. Trade, you read theirs, they read yours, you both win. It's all good. Bring friends or coworkers in and make them record, at a different point in time. That's totally cool too. You do not have to use only your own voice, but you could if you want to, but you don't have to. So let's see, I know the beginning part I don't need, let's see. So at this point I'll be able to go, hello there, this is character. Okay, so we just get rid of this beginning part, hit delete, it's gone. All right, so now I've recorded my 3 character voices. The next step is I am going to create a multi-track session. An important point, this is a vitally important point. The multi-track session file contains no actual audio. It links to my source files and stores the information of how I want them to be manipulated or modified, but it does not actually contain them. So when I work on the project, it's going to need to have all of my files in one place, and we'll go over that workflow shortly to see how that happens. So to create a new multi-track session, I can choose New, Multi-Track Session. I can also go under Multi-Track, and oh, I thought there was somewhere in here, but I guess not. So I'll just New, Multi-Track Session, and this will be Demo 2. Now, I'm going to choose where I want to store this. I'm going to hit Browse. If I look at my computer, I will notice that there's a Mac storage drive on these computers. Those are a partition, a section of the hard drive that is safe for you to store files in. When you are working on these computers, I recommend that you take advantage of that. That partition is localized or resides only on the computer that you save on. It's not a networked Mac storage. It's part of that physical machine, that hardware strapped to your desk. So I go to my storage. I create a folder with my name. And inside there, I am going to then make, actually, I believe it will make a folder for me. If I just choose my folder and hit choose, I believe it makes a new folder for me, but I'm not entirely positive. We'll find out. Now, I also have at this point, I could set my project to be a different setting from my recordings. So I could have my project at a higher or lower quality. And then any elements, assets, or files that I add to this multi-track session, it will create versions of them at that setting. That, if you start doing more and more projects, that becomes an issue. Right now, it just means you might see warning signs periodically where it says, hey, that file doesn't match what your project is, so we'll make a new copy of. And you're like, okay, whatever. Just make it work. In the past, you had to manually do the change, otherwise it wouldn't work. Now it just it gives you a warning dialog that you could say, hey, don't show that to me anymore, and then you would never know anything's happening, and it just works. So that is a nice part about this new version of Audition, is it works. Now it comes up with this screen, and we can see the individual tracks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it starts out with 6 tracks and my master. Let me have to figure out how I just did my zoom on these that I don't want. There we go. Somehow I zoomed in because the scroll ball on your mouse, the scroll wheel, controls the zoom of tracks and waveforms. And if you're not careful while you do your zoom, you'll suddenly zoom in and go, whoa, that's not what I had in mind. So I can see I have my individual tracks. Now, if I want to add a file to one of these tracks, all I do is go into my file palette over here, or file window, and I drag it over. I can see there, now there's character 1. I can now drag over character 2, and I can drag over character 3. So now I have my 3 characters lined up each on their own individual track. While you are working with this, a good way to keep things square as to what audio belongs to what character is to assign 1 character per track. But there will be times where you will want to kind of blend things, so then you might not fully adhere to that. But it is useful to assign 1 character per track so you can keep track of it. Now this is good, but what if I want all 3 to introduce themselves and then say their little line? So I want to start dividing up this audio. Because while you do your recording, I would recommend that you record all the lines for 1 character, then record all the lines for the next character, and then record all the lines for the 3rd character, and then start cutting them into pieces and then arranging them on this timeline until it works. That's my recommended workflow. If you choose to do something different, good for you. I'm not going to penalize you. I'm not going to downgrade you. I'm grading you on the final product. How you get there, that's up to you. It's completely up to you. So I am going to look at this now, and if I play it, hey, this is the first character. I'm the hero. Okay, so I want to divide this. I want to separate the hey. I want to separate. Hey there, good evening. I want to separate the hey there, good evening, and hello there. This is character 3. And the hello. Ooh. And I'm distorting my voice a little. Oh, I forgot to get rid of all that crap at the end. But we can get rid of that now. That's okay. I forgot I kept going on afterward. But that's easy enough to trim. So to trim these, there's a razor tool up here. It looks just like in a video editor. So if you use Adobe Premiere, there's the razor tool for taking a track and cutting it into smaller pieces. And you just click at the point you want it. That works. Personally, I find it's hard to actually get the razor to click. It's a very, I find, like, cumbersome way of doing it because it's hard for me to get my click exactly where I want it. I find it's easier to use a keyboard shortcut. So I'm not going to require you to memorize all the keyboard shortcuts or anything like that, but this is one that I find it works pretty well, and it's Command K for razor. See, Command K for razor? No. Or cut, you can think of it that way too, I guess. So if I scrub through my time here, put it right after the hey. So right after the hey, right here. So if I put the playback head where I want to do my cut, if I hit Command K, now what you'll see is it's now separate. See, I have these two pieces. Hey. So I could have that one say, hey. Hey there, good evening. Okay, so now this one. Evening. I think it's right about there. Command K. Hey. Hey there, good evening. Oh, apparently I didn't do a good job cutting, but it'll work for informational purposes tonight. This one, I need to get rid of the stuff at the end, which I think stopped right about. Oh, now watch this. This is character 3. This is the first character. I'm distorting my voice a little bit. So as you can see, because these two are overlapping, did you hear both voices playing now? So it's giving you that you can create a very rich soundscape by starting to stack clip over clip over clip over clip. So you could have 10 people all talking at the same time. Again, I think about these things in a very visual way. So when I start constructing how it looks in a timeline here, I'm starting to see it visually of, okay, I'm putting these here, and now that's creating this sound. I don't think about, okay, character 1 says this, character 2. I look at it of the sound and how it visually starts to come together. So I'm a visual editor in that regard. All right, so I could split this. But once you have a clip, you can also go into it, double click, and it brings me into the clip. So now I'm editing character 3's clip. Distorting my voice a little bit, just so I can sound. Okay, I think it ended. Let's see. And I'm distorting B. Oh, there. This is character 3. Okay, so really, I just don't need anything after that point. So highlight. Yeah. It's telling me that I changed the length of it. You're like, well, yeah, I wanted to because I made it shorter, and now it doesn't. And if I put my cursor at the end, we can also see I'm getting this kind of trimmer, so I can trim it in, and it lines it up at the very end. So now I don't have all that extra stuff. It's a fairly... Now, one thing I would encourage you to do, there's all kinds of little details here, all kinds of little buttons. When you see me click on something, look on your screen, look for what I'm clicking at. Well, you don't have these waveforms yet, but if you push buttons in this program, if you click on pull-down menus, are you going to cause a bomb to go off? Are you going to cause your computer to self-destruct? Are you going to electrocute yourself? Well, unless there's like a sudden, tidal wave that washes through the room and the power stays on, probably not. This is a very safe endeavor. The worst possible thing you can do is to stare at your screen and go, well, what button should I push? And 10 minutes later, still stare at your screen going, which button should I push? I've seen it happen, and I don't like it. Just push buttons. As long as you save your file regularly, you can push until the whole thing just goes, oh, I'm really grumpy. But if you're not saving on the desktop and saving on your flash drive or in the max storage drive, no harm. No harm. You're not going to lose anything, and you're going to learn. But if you just stare at the screen going, well, I don't know what button to push, so I'm just going to sit here until I magically will divine an answer, it's not going to happen. Don't be afraid to push the button. That's the most important lesson when you're dealing with application software, because eventually what's going to happen is you're going to learn a whole boatload of programs to become proficient in your chosen specialty. You're going to go out and get a job, and they're going to have a boatload more programs that you have to get proficient in, except you don't get a class. You just are assumed that, well, you know these original programs, these other ones are close enough to it, so you just got to figure it out. Which buttons do you press? You just keep pressing buttons till something happens that seems familiar. Don't be afraid. I will work with you when you cause the computer to give us all kinds of cryptic warning messages about how the end of the world is coming and it's really grumpy. But if you just sit there and do nothing, that's just disappointing. So push the buttons. Don't be afraid about breaking the computer, because it's not going to happen. We have deep freeze on these. When they restart, they're good to go. As long as you've been keeping your data into a non-frozen space, your flash drive or the storage drive, we're good. Notice I'm not recommending you save on the desktop. I do a lot of my demos on the desktop because when I'm done with my demo, I want everything to evaporate and go away. Because my machine's frozen just like yours, but I don't want yours to be that way, so please. All right, so I've done some basic editing here. Sorry I ranted and that's now trapped in the video, but such is life. That will be an extra lesson to remember in the video. Push the button, it won't blow up. It's gonna come back to bite me saying that someday, I just know it. So now I have these pieces here. Let's see, we have character 1. Hey. Now character 2 here, I need to trim that. There's all that extra space at the beginning. I don't like that. Hey there, good evening. This is okay. But because of how this works, I can actually extend this out a little bit. Let's see. Good evening. Okay, good evening. And shorten this one up a little bit. This is character 2. Pleased to meet you. This is. Oh, good. I want to trim that little part there. Perfect. So I'll put the. Pleased to meet you. I want to put that into its own thing. So Command K, that cuts it. All right. So now I have a whole bunch of pieces to play with here. Let's move this one over here. Oh, what did character 3 say? I don't remember. Let's find out. Hello there. This is. Go back a little bit. Hello there. This is. So if I need to adjust that in-out point, all I have to do is put my cursor at the edge, and you will see how I get this little red bar that shows up, and that allows me to adjust the kind of in-out point of that trim that I just did when I razored the clip. Hello there. This is character. Okay, so I need to trim this a little bit this way. I might have to zoom in a little bit. Up at the top here, this shows me my whole session. If I want to shorten things or shrink it down or zoom in, I can pull the endpoints of that, and if I look up here, I can kind of see each of the little tracks being represented, and then I can see those pieces down here. So this is the one I'm trying to trim up a little bit. Hello there. It's picking up that T at the end, but now if I shorten it. Hello there. Perfect. So if I zoom in, then I can see the editing. To go back to the full picture, you hit this magnifier right here and it zooms out. So now I can see it in its entirety. So now I have my 3 introductions. Character 1, character 2, and if I drag, they will automatically snap to each other. They go blink, so I can get a kind of a seamless play. Hey there, good evening. Hello there. So I have my 3 characters, and now I can grab their other sections and have them say what they need to say. I could trim it up more. What was that one? Pleased to meet you. So slice and dice, arrange the clips. That's the big part of it. The next part is going to be acquiring your music. And we looked a little bit at American Music Company's website last week, gave you the login and password. Going to review that very quickly here and then put that into this project. Command period, we've started. If I want to bring the music in, double click in the file palette or file window over here, or choose file open, and then I can go find music I am looking for. I am looking for my corporate jungle right here. I'll hit open, comes in. I can drag that to a new track. Now it's telling me the sample rate doesn't match the sample rate of my session, and it's going to have to make a new copy to be able to work with this, and I say sure. As I mentioned earlier, the old versions, it required you to make that new copy yourself. The nice part is now it's smart enough to be able to handle that task. Okay, now I have my music, and if I play it, so if you notice, I can't really hear myself very well. So I need to, what's referred to an audio terminology, I need to duck the music. I need to lower the volume of the music when I am talking. So to do that, I get to do what's referred to as envelope my sound. I will be applying a volume envelope to this track. To do that, I have this yellow line, this yellow or gold line running through the track, and that represents my volume. If I wait for the tooltip, it shows it. The blue line I see here represents panning. Panning is moving the sound from the left to the right speaker when you're dealing with stereo audio. And we'll look at panning shortly. To apply this envelope, all I do is click. It inserts a keyframe. The small little gold dot just showed up. If I click again, I can insert another keyframe, and now I can pull the sound down. If I want to pull the sound back up at this point, start fading up, I can click again, fade it up. The numbers are telling me 0 is back to its original volume. Anything plus, it's louder than its original volume. Anything minus, it's quieter than its original volume. So I'm going to put it at 0. So now the sound, we can see, will follow this kind of boat shape of it. Will go down, and it will come back up. So if I zoom back out so I can adjust my playhead. Hey there, good evening. Hello there. So you can see the sound ducked down. I was able to then hear me speak, and it came back. And I didn't have to bring it back up. If I wanted it to stay down, I could just leave it down. Now I'm going to go to and look at my whole project here. If I want to end this sooner, or if I want to fade it out, there's these little boxes on each of these tracks. If I click on a track, you see a gray box, and it's got a diagonal line through it. And if I put my cursor over it, tooltip says fade out. Go to the left one, that's fade in. So now knowing that, if I go to my music here, if I fade my music out, I can actually now make the music start fading out far sooner than it naturally would. So I can adjust the length of that fade. So at this point, if I play, I faded it out. If I wanted to start fading sooner, or just across the whole thing, this is character 2, this is character 3, this is the first character. I'm the hero. So now I have a long, gentle fade to the music, which might be what you do with your intro music. If you use some intro music for the first part of your story, you could do a long fade so it goes out as you then maybe layer in some other music, other people talking, sound effects, because maybe I'm going to fade all of that out and then go and add my little explosion. Because once it's quiet and we've lulled everybody into this false sense of quiet, we'll go back and just listen to it in its entirety. Hey there, good evening. Hello there. This is character 2. This is character 3. This is the first character. I'm the hero. Pleased to meet you. That's a nice way to go out. Go out with a bang. So we can add in these different things, layer them. So I have a sound effect, I have 3 characters, I have music. I've done all the required elements except actually tell you a story. Your job is going to be to add the story element into it. Now, if we also notice here, with this occurring, I have the blue line, the panning envelope, which on longer tracks is easier to see, but let's see, if we go up to this character up here, the first character, I am going to, the M right here is mute. I'm going to get rid of the music temporarily just so we can hear that character. Notice it turned gray saying, hey, I'm gone. This is the first character. I'm the hero. So I'm going to have, this is the first character be on the left speaker, and the right speaker is going to then be, and I can never remember which way for which. Let's see. This is the first character. I'm the hero. So did you notice he started here and then he was speaking first on the right side, then on the left side? So I can adjust that panning, but I mean, you can just do really ridiculous things as you see fit as well. This is the first character. I'm the hero. You know, why you would do a pan like that, I don't really know, but you can. This is the first character. I'm the hero. So you can see how it's like bouncing back and forth. Now, if you think about it from the standpoint of, well, someone's going to be on the right side, someone's going to be on the left side, and then they're going to be having a conversation. If you start to skew their sound, you start to create a sense of space. That space makes for a much richer project. It's not a required element to work with panning on here, but it can make for a much better project. If you can find time to work it in, I would encourage you to do so. So we have panning, we have volume, we have all the different tracks. We've split or edited the tracks using Command K, adjusted the in and out points on each one to fine tune where I want each little segment, rearrange them on the timeline. Now if I want to, let's see, what do I say in this final part here? Pleased to meet you. Under pleased to meet you. Now what we can also do with that is we have other options available to it. Now one of the most common ones that you use if you want to make your voice deeper or higher, Mickey Mouse versus Darth Vader, is going to be a time and pitch shifting. So if I go into this piece here, pleased to meet you. So if I take this, highlight the section that I want, time and pitch, and now it's remembering my settings from before. A minus number is going to go deeper. The 200 means it's going to stretch it out if I want this to be 100 for now. So if I keep it at the same speed, so I lowered it down 17, 18 semitones, let's see. So I'm getting that nice kind of deep voice modulated computer voice sort of thing going on. If I do a time stretch to it, you can start to get it a little bit lower. My voice doesn't drop super well compared to some. It's just because of its normal pitch. But now if I go much higher, if we go up 10, and I'll just put this back to the original speed, I can start to sound like I've been sucking on helium. But it still is going to take up the same amount of time. If I want to speed it up a little bit, you can see how it starts to amp it up. I kind of liked it at, you know, around 100%. So we'll go with the high. Yeah, I know it's adjusting it, blah, blah, blah. Now if I go back into my session, there it is. Dismiss all warnings. It's telling me my timing might be off on there, but I only modified. There we go. So now I have a different character, and it was still my voice. There's no end to the joy, the play, and the fun you can have with this. It's a matter of your imagination. So just work with that as you embark on this project. Have fun. So I am now, look, we're observing the computer, the control room, or the computer that's attached to the sound booth. So we're now watching that screen right here. Now if I want to record file, I can say new audio file. Now when this audio file comes up, standard settings, and when I go to record, what's going to happen is it's going to record into a single channel. Okay, so there we can see it recorded, not very loudly into the microphone. The microphone was pointing away from our guest speaker today. But it did record some sound that if the speakers were connected up here, we would actually hear it. So I can see the sound is here, and it's only occurring in the left channel. The workflow to get it to create synthetic stereo so it's in both channels is to go under the Effects pull-down menu, Amplitude and Compression, and then choose Channel Mixer. When you do that, then you have the option of choosing Fill Left. So it takes the information in the left channel and puts it into the right channel. And I can hit Apply. And we can now see that there's audio information represented in both channels. So now I could perform a panning operation. I could make it go from left to right, where if I did it before, it would only play in one channel. And if I panned it to the empty channel, the right channel, it would have disappeared. So that's an important thing to do when you record on these sound booths is after you do your recording, you need to then take that audio file, go under Effects, Amplitude Compression, Channel Mixer, and then choose Fill Left. And then you'll be in good shape. You don't need to choose all the other stuff, just Fill Left. We can see there's a lot of options there. Fill Left, which means it takes the information in the left channel and uses it to populate the right channel. And then that's going to take care of mixing it down. Now the final thing that you will want to do with your whole multi-track file is you're going to go under multi-track and you're going to choose Mix Down to New File, Entire Selection. Entire Session. Blah. It's been a long day. You can also go under the File pull-down menu, choose Export, Multi-Track Mix Down, Entire Session. As you can see, it's pretty much it's the same thing. There's probably a key command for it, I just don't know it offhand. When I choose that, I can now choose where I want it to go. I'm going to go put it in the same place as the rest of my project that I'm working on here, which is under Mac Storage, my name, Demo2, and I will hit Save. And now at this point, I can choose the format I want to save it in. I have a WAV file, 44 or 32-bit. That's fine. I could change these settings if I want. I could also, for the final mix down, you could make an MP3 so you could play it on your MP3 player and enjoy your handiwork on your commutes to and from school if that makes you happy. That's certainly an option. Otherwise, the WAV file is fine. And then at that point, I can hit OK, and it mixes down. And now if I open up that mixdown, we'll see now I have one finished completed file. So I can play it, music. Hey there, good evening. And we can tell by the waveform at the very end what's going to happen. So record the audio, create the multi-track file, bring all the pieces in, cut them using Command K, arrange everything, do some enveloping as needed, and then multi-track mix down the entire session. That is the workflow. Once you have your assets recorded, the actual cutting and arranging things goes pretty quick. Getting them recorded is the time-consuming process. Once that's done, the rest of it is possible to handle fairly readily.